50 Cent has set the internet on fire yet again.
When they want to try, look, even for me personally, my character, they would try to attack my character. They'll say he a rat or he this and that.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is ask him who I told on.
Paperwork.
I ain't never told on no in my life.
Yeah.
In the Prem situation, look at this case. It'll tell you who told on.
Right.
My name ain't in that case.
And this time, his target was T.I. Fans are calling it one of his most savage takedowns ever because the Queens mogul hopped on a live stream and went all in. With no filter, he branded Tip a Hollywood clown and accused him of turning his back on his southern roots just to chase movie checks and red carpet fame. The rant sparked after T.I. spoke on prioritizing his acting career over rap, claiming he wanted to step away from the culture that built him. 50 pounced instantly, laughing at the idea and dragging him for abandoning the culture that crowned him. He sneered, "You ain't the king of the South no more. You're just another actor trying to play tough on red carpets." The internet erupted in minutes. Memes took over Twitter and Instagram, half the crowd cheering 50 for keeping it raw, while others defended Tip, saying versatility and longevity prove his status. But whether fans backed Tip or 50, everyone agreed this felt like the start of a classic 50 Cent feud that could get ugly real quick. Insiders close to the situation claim Tip isn't letting this one slide. And with 50's history of non-stop trolling mixed with T.I.'s pride, it's only a matter of time before things explode into one of the nastiest hip-hop battles of the year. T.I. found out the hard way what happens when 50 Cent puts a target on your back. He doesn't stop. The Queens hustler started dragging Tip over long-standing snitching allegations that have followed him for years like a shadow. That ugly label has earned T.I. constant side-eye in the industry, and 50 was one of the loudest voices making sure it stuck.
Like, you see a snitch, slap him when you see him, knock his nose off. So next time I'm out, instead of asking for a picture like a little hoe ass, come on, knock my nose out if you think I'm a snitch. Come on, quit smiling in my face trying to get in my section. Don't play with me. Think you're talking to? Play with your name. King never gave no information to get anybody in no but now time with no police. If I am working with the police, it'll be to get him to shoot. What you talking about? Play with me.
At first, Tip tried to stay cool, brushing off the shots like they didn't faze him, but the tension only grew until he finally fired back.
I seen a post today where they were saying that you were supposed to be in, I guess one of the Power, what's the name? I guess two of the actors on the show said that you were actually supposed to be on the show, and then they replaced you with Method Man, and they weren't expecting it or something.
No, that's not true. 50 and I, we were executive producers on a different show outside of the Power universe. But nah, man, me and 50 cool. I'm the only one who's not offended by his brass approach, and he's not offended by mine. So, you know, we play rough, but we ain't no issues. It's a music.
T.I. challenged 50 to a 20-track Versus battle, even pitching it as a birthday celebration to prove his catalog stood tall. But instead of calming things down, that move only lit 50's petty side on fire. 50 reached into the vault and pulled out the infamous 2008 Crime Stoppers commercial. The one where Tip told people to report crimes. The internet instantly roasted him, clowning the clip as proof of weakness. What was meant to rebuild Tip's image during legal trouble only made him look worse in the eyes of hip-hop's code of silence. Despite years of collabs and early respect between them, 50's trolling reignited the controversy, making sure the stain of snitch rumors stayed glued to T.I.'s name. With the memes piling up and fans debating every angle, the feud was no longer just about music. It had become a battle over reputation itself. The mess really hit its peak back in 2007, the year T.I.'s career almost crashed for good. Just hours before he was set to perform at the BET Hip Hop Awards, federal agents swooped in and arrested him on some of the heaviest weapons charges imaginable.
But this is about another tip that can help our mothers, our sisters, our brothers, and our fathers help get the perpetrators who commit crimes against them off the streets. All you got to do is call Crime Stoppers Atlanta. Tips can be anonymous, and there's even a reward. The number to Crime Stoppers Atlanta is 404-577-8477. That's 404-577-TIPS. Channel 2, Community.
It was a shocking fall for a man at the top of the rap game. The wild twist? His own bodyguard was secretly working as a federal informant. That bodyguard handed over 3 machine guns and 2 silencers in exchange for $12,000 cash, catching Tip red-handed in a sting operation. And because T.I. was already a convicted felon, the case looked airtight. Everyone assumed he was about to face at least a decade behind bars. But the outcome left fans stunned.
You see what I'm saying? But they talking about, they try to use that I need to order protection, but why it feels like I'm the out here then? If I needed protection, you needed protection. And your protection gone.
Instead of a massive sentence, Tip somehow walked away with what many called a sweetheart deal. 1 year of house arrest, over 1,500 hours of community service, and a short prison stint. That shocking leniency had the entire hip-hop community whispering, because cases with firepower that heavy usually mean a mandatory 10 years or more. To soften his image, T.I. filmed the infamous Crime Stoppers PSA, urging citizens to report crimes. But instead of repairing his reputation, it backfired in the worst way. For many in hip-hop, it looked like a betrayal of the street code, and whispers of him being a snitch spread like wildfire. 50 Cent jumped right in, keeping the stigma alive and making sure Tip's darkest chapter was never forgotten. 50 Cent didn't just clown T.I. online. He turned the snitching whispers into music that still haunts Tip's name today. On G-Unit's track, You So Tough, 50 dropped lines that had everybody talking. He rapped about how serious charges magically turned into a light sentence, and the message was loud and clear. Something didn't add up. How do you explain how homie breeze? 50 rapped. They said, keep your mouth shut or you eat the cheese. With those words, he put the spotlight right back on Tip's darkest chapter. He didn't have to say T.I.'s name. The streets already connected the dots. And once that perception took hold, it became a stain T.I. couldn't wipe off, no matter how many hits he made. The timing made it even worse. Just as T.I. was rebuilding his brand, the Crime Stoppers clip resurfaced in 2020, right when Tekashi 6ix9ine's snitching case had hip-hop buzzing. Suddenly, old wounds reopened and the comparison was unavoidable. 50 pounced instantly, joking on Twitter that if they ever battled on Verzoos, the first song he'd play against Tip wouldn't even be music. It'd be the Crime Stoppers video itself. The internet exploded with laughter, and T.I. became a trending topic overnight. For Tip, the situation was no longer just about music. It was about survival of his reputation. T.I. wasn't about to stay quiet. He clapped back hard. As the Crime Stoppers video went viral again, Tip stormed into the comments to shut down the talk once and for all. He wrote, "The video clip is cute. Poor taste, but cute. However, I prefer facts. I've never given any information to any form of law enforcement to get nobody no time for no crime ever." His message was clear, but by then the damage was already done. Tip wasn't stopping there. He flipped the heat back onto 50, hinting that maybe Curtis himself had some skeletons in his closet. He fired off. 50 Cent, can you say the same? That bold question had fans buzzing, wondering if Tip knew something the world didn't. Then T.I. took it up a notch, reposting 50's jab and dropping a fiery caption that doubled down on his Verzoos challenge. He taunted, "I'll take this as an acceptance of my catalog challenge." We got him. He bit the bait. Set this up so I can finally shut this watermelon head, invisible neck ninja up once and for all. The insults flew, and social media ate it up, and he didn't hold back on 50's music either. Tip claimed 50's catalog was outdated and inflated, promising to bury it track by track. He even pulled Supreme's name into the mix, saying the Queen's figure told him to ask 50 the same question. Could he really swear he never cooperated? Tip was all in now, fighting not just for music credibility, but for his honor. After unloading on Instagram, T.I. wasn't finished. He jumped on IG Live with comedian Kelly K. Dubwalker to speak directly on the snitching chatter. Once again, Tip stood firm, swearing he never cooperated with the feds and refusing to let the Crime Stoppers video define his name. He was heated, determined to rewrite the narrative that kept haunting him. Not long after, he sat down with the Big Facts podcast, where the hosts pressed him even harder. When asked how he felt about New York rappers like 50 Cent clowning him over the ad, Tip doubled down. He brushed off the criticism, saying the PSA was nothing more than an outdated tool, and he wasn't about to let outsiders dictate how Atlanta moved. But his defense didn't silence the noise. It only gave his critics more ammo. Roughly a week later, 50 struck back with a now-deleted Instagram post. He reposted a clip from T.I.'s podcast interview and added a warning shot that sent chills through fans. This was a week ago. This man was telling me about a comedy show he was working on backstage. I don't like this kind of energy. It wouldn't be a good idea to come around me again. Respectfully, stay away from me. It was pure 50. Half threat, half troll, and all smoke. By this point, their feud wasn't just messy, it was turning personal, and everybody could feel the tension getting dangerous. The feud took an even darker turn after the tragic death of Chicago rapper King Von in Atlanta on November 6, 2020. In the middle of the grief, T.I. decided to speak out on the violence in his city, but his words backfired instantly. Tip posted, "Atlanta is a beautiful, progressive city filled with Black excellence. We uplift each other and win together. Stop coming here to kill each other." That is just played out. He ended the caption with, "Handle your beefs in your city. Thanks in advance, King." What was meant as a call for peace ended up sounding like a jab at outsiders. And with tensions already high, the backlash was swift. Fans and industry voices felt the timing was wrong, especially so soon after Von's death. And one of the first to check Tip publicly was none other than 50 Cent. King Von's sister Kayla even tagged 50 directly, asking him to step in. She wrote, "The energy he always putting in people business need to be the same energy he need to make it right with his daughter. No way is my brother 50 Cent get on his ass." Once 50 caught that, he jumped into action. 50 told Tip straight up, "You gotta chill. You bugging for saying anything. They got casualties. This is real. I don't know what you was thinking, but rethink it. Now, they are hurting. They love that boy. He was way out. I bet you don't even realize they were looking at you for what you just said. What hood you from again? Come on now. It's quiet time now." That sharp response silenced Tip for the moment. The message was clear. 50 had just sonned him in front of the whole culture. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get messier, new rumors started flying. And this time it was about Hollywood money. Word spread that T.I. was originally in line to play Davis McClain, the slick attorney in 50 Cent's Power universe, but lost the role because of their beef. That part eventually went to Method Man, and fans couldn't stop speculating that 50 had pulled strings behind the scenes. The whispers got louder when Power stars Johnny Paolo and Michael Rainey Jr. spoke on it. According to them, one day, Method Man just showed up on set. No warning, no explanation. He was simply there. Fans connected the dots, saying 50 had quietly swapped Tip out and replaced him with meth as payback for the constant shots online. Of course, Tip wasn't about to let that rumor run wild. He jumped on Tony the Closer's podcast to shut it all down. T.I. insisted there was zero truth to the claim he'd ever been cast as Davis McClain, and that his issues with 50 had nothing to do with power. He even doubled down, saying he and 50 still respect each other despite their rocky past. But while Tip was quick to clear the air, 50 stayed silent. And that silence spoke volumes. He didn't deny it, didn't confirm it, just let the rumor hang over Tip's head. Because if there's one thing everybody knows about 50, it's this. He never forgets a slight, even if he's plotting behind the scenes. Fans couldn't stay quiet watching this feud unfold, and the reactions showed just how divided the culture really is. On one side, people were backing 50 hard, saying he was right to call out Tip. They pointed straight to that shockingly light 2007 sentence as proof something was off. One fan even wrote, "I've never in my life seen a 1-year sentence for over 30 guns. Something doesn't add up." To them, the Crime Stoppers ad was the smoking gun that confirmed all the whispers. But others flipped the narrative right back on 50. They argued he had no room to talk, pointing to his own past and accusing him of hypocrisy. In their eyes, it was just a case of the pot calling the kettle black, and they didn't hesitate to label 50 with the same snitch tag he kept throwing at Tip. Social media was a war zone, with both fan bases going at each other non-stop. The debate wasn't just about music anymore, it was about credibility, loyalty, and the code of the streets. Every post, every old clip, every lyric was being dragged back into the spotlight and dissected all over again. The question now wasn't just who's telling the truth, it was who's really hiding something. So where does this feud really stand today? On the surface, things have cooled down. 50 isn't roasting Tip every other week the way he does his other rivals. But don't get it twisted, that doesn't mean it's over. History shows 50 never forgets, and all it takes is one slip, one comment, and he'll bring every old wound back into the spotlight. T.I., on the other hand, has tried to push forward, praising 50 in interviews and claiming there's still respect between them. But with the snitch whispers glued to his name and fans constantly bringing up his past, it's clear his reputation will never escape the shadow of 2007. The culture doesn't let things go, especially when 50 keeps stirring the pot. At the end of the day, this feud isn't just about music or Hollywood roles, it's about pride, credibility, and survival in a game where perception is everything. Whether you believe 50 exposed something real or you think this is just old grudges being recycled, one thing's certain, the names 50 Cent and T.I. are forever tied together in controversy. And trust me, this saga is far from over. If you made it this far, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the next twist in hip-hop's wildest feuds. This story is still being written, and you don't want to miss what's coming next.